Nice cigar here. Sitting here with Brandon Meter from Engel and Volkers talking about investment properties at his private cigar club. So Brandon, tell me, what do you really like to do as far as investments? What's your favorite investment property to go after? Is it buying something? Is it finding something for one of your clients to flip? What is your specialty? If you want to narrow, what could you narrow it down to? What's your specialty?
Well, before I narrow it down, I guess my favorite investment property to go after is the one that has a nice margin. But my clients appreciate that as well. I guess one of the aspects that I really like to bring to the table is overcoming obstacles. And I call them obstacles with my clients as well because there's no such thing as a problem. There are always obstacles, and I think that's my favorite part of working in investments because there are plenty of obstacles in the way, and overcoming those with in creative ways kind of is my favorite thing to do. As far as a specific type of property investing, so one thing that I do with one of my client groups is that they're purely passive investors, and so I'll find them a property that fits within their scope or a project within their scope, and whether it's a renovation, a new construction, or what have you, I will design the house for them. So I'll obviously outsource a lot of this. I'll hire the architect, I'll work with the contractor, I'll actually find them the financing required as needed as well. And then I'll go ahead and pick out the finishes. I'll start being able to market the property then because I'm actually the one who's designing this home for them. So I guess that creative aspect of it is kind of my favorite part.
Now, Brandon, I have a question for you. When people are looking at investing in a project and stuff like that, what type of typical margin or return would they be looking at?
Well, typical is kind of a loaded word.
Okay.
So it depends on the needs of the investor. So I'll give you two examples. I have a gentleman who has to protect some assets that he made from a sale of one of his commercial buildings. So he has to do a 1031 exchange. So we're looking to identify properties. We've got 3 more weeks to identify them. But his need is essentially to park that money and gain in the long term what we call a cap rate of a certain percentage, which is the percentage he's looking for, really anywhere between 5 and 8%. But then it's the long-term asset that he's holding on to because then he'll go ahead and sell this asset when it's convenient, hopefully for a large margin on the tail end. But his primary need is to protect his 1031 exchange funds in a very safe asset, one that he doesn't have much risk of having to write a check for during the duration of his ownership, at least above and beyond the assets or the income that he's making. The other example is a new construction project that we're targeting up in Plymouth, and the investors in that deal, there's 2 investors, and I guess that's a point to be made, is that a lot of these investors feel like they need to go it alone. So, we've toyed with the concept of developing a REIT or a small investment group, but oftentimes my projects are funded by more than just one investor.
Well, if somebody wanted to get involved and contact you about maybe getting involved in getting an investment, how would they get a hold of you, Brandon?
Well, so we actually hold monthly investor meetings at the club here. So you can partake in a cigar and some drinks, and we can talk about how we can make some money in real estate investment. My contact information is brandon.meter@evusa.com. My phone number is 612-695-1047. And to go back to that margin question, this is kind of the punchline to that project in Plymouth. One investor is financing the deal and putting in 50% of the cash, and then they've negotiated amongst themselves that the best investor will get 66% of the return. The other investor is putting in the other half of the cash. He gets 33. The estimated ROI on that project annually is 100% for the 66% investor, and it was 72%. So that project overall should make about $108,000.
Now those are some nice returns.
And the money that they have to input total was 180, so each investor is putting in about 90. And you can divide the 108, 2/3 and 1/3, figure out what that is.
That's awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.